Welcome, fiber artist friends. Can I call myself a fiber artist? I guess so, because I knit, right? Anyhow, my name is Beth. You can find me at these places on the internet in addition to this YouTube channel. And I am now kicking off my summer season where I will be knitting more often. I will have time to post on YouTube and Instagram and all the places. And I am excited about starting back into my weekly podcasts. So please bear with me. Please come along for the ride. Make sure that in order to be most likely exposed to my new episodes, you are subscribed to this channel. Please, if you like the episode, give me a thumbs up. Show me that you like me by commenting below, and I may be talking about you in my next episode. So, with that in mind, let's get into the good stuff. What I'm wearing. I am so excited that I finished this. So this is the Fosette. It is by Devin, Ventre, and I am very happy with how it came out. The fit is just right. I will say, I don't know if you can see it when I'm standing here like this. I did a twirl with it. I'll show that, but on the sides, it seems like there's like parts that stick out a little bit. And I think that's just because of how I dried it. I laid it flat to dry. And I've seen people suggest to use pool noodles in order to avoid that like seam showing up and being, you know, sticking out the way I noticed it did. I don't know if you can see it in the video because I'm watching it on my tiny little phone screen, but anyway, not important right now. I did have some modifications to this that one of them I did not talk about last time. I omitted the bobbles, not because I don't like the look of them or anything, but because bobbles take too long. I don't like doing bobbles, and I think that's a common thing in knitting. I also have the pattern for Joji Locatelli's La Prairie, which is a cardigan. I'll shoot a picture probably up here because Fosette will be up here. That one also has bobbles that I am planning to make and omit those. But that's so far down the line, I don't even know why I'm talking about it right now. So, I added waist and hip shaping in order to make it more fitted. And I extended the length because this is supposed to be cropped. I didn't measure it, only on my body. I tried it on and went, yeah, I like that. And there was no tape measure deciding anything. Other than with the ribbing, I know that I like a 2-inch ribbing on most of my garments. So I just went 2 inches on that. The pattern suggests 1 inch. So those are the differences. I used 4 skeins of yarn, so 3 different colors. I don't know if I actually needed that 4th skein, and here's why I don't know. Because what I did is I was sent the yarn at 2 different times. I had gotten all 3 skeins together, and then separately I got the 4th skein. So I think, and it was this purple Thistle colorway that I had the 2nd skein of, and it looked to me like it was in a different dye lot. It was the second one I got, I think, was a darker color. So I looked at them together and I went, okay, I don't want these together on the project. So I started the color work with one skein. And then when I started down, I don't know if it was up here or down here, but that's where I switched skeins so that it wouldn't be right next to each other. So I'll have to weigh my yarn and let you know. In fact, I'm going to take a break and do that, and I'll be right back to tell you. Okay, so it would be helpful for you to know what size I made in order for you, if you're interested in making this and this is something that these yarn comparisons would make sense for you. I made the 3rd size of this, so I believe it was, where did I put the pattern? Finished bust measurement says it should be 39.25, which I may have gotten more than that. I don't know. I measure 36, so anyhow. I made the 3rd size, and my leftover yarn, I have very little of, no, that's not the one. Where'd it go? I don't have that much yarn in front. Oh, it blended in. I use similar colors of things. Okay, so Beryl is the blue color. This is Knitty McPurly Dubrovnik DK, and in the colorway Beryl. This one I use the most of. I have just over 10 grams left. And that's from 100 gram skein. This one is the colorway Meadow, and I have quite a bit more of that. I think it was like 24 grams. And Thistle, I have a lot left. I could have done this with just one skein of the Thistle. So I don't mind that I have more. I can always make a pair of socks to match this, because this being a DK weight, mostly wool and nylon item, I feel like I'm not going to want it for summer wear. I'm wearing it with nothing under it right now, and it is definitely warm against my skin. It's supposed to get up to 87 here today in the Chicago suburbs, so I'm not going to be wearing this all day long, and especially if I go outside. We do have the air conditioner on, so that helps. But I feel like there was a point I was getting to. Oh, I know what it was. With the leftover yarn, I can make matching socks. So I am just fine with that. I'm excited about that. I don't know when I'll get to that, but that is something to think about for the future. And I'm also thinking about, if any of you have been with me for a while, you know I struggle with my color work. This one was pretty good. I have pointed out before that this is pulling in right here. You can kind of see it on the shoulder, and that this is where the stranded color work was. So I fixed that by when I got to, I can't see on the camera. When I got to this part, I went up by 2 needle sizes instead of just 1. And that made a big difference. You don't see the pulling in as much on that lower section as you do up here. So this, I'm leaving it. I'm not going back and ripping out to do that again. I think it looks great the way it is. I don't think anyone other than knitters is going to say, why does it look like that? But so be it. So this was a lot of fun. Devin always says, Devin Ventre, the pattern designer, says this sweater knits itself. And I think to a large degree, she's right. I mean, it's a DK short sleeve thing. It is intended as a crop, so it goes even faster because of that, if you're making it cropped. But still, even with the longer version, I had an easy time just getting through. This is probably one of my quickest makes of recent times. If you've been following me for a while, you'll see that I have whips and I have more whips, and the whips go on and on and on. So it was refreshing to finish something. And I am happy to have it off my needles and on my person. So next thing I want to get into is my whips. And as always, I am super excited about my whips. So let's get into what I have. The first thing, you guys, okay, I needed another whip like I needed a hole in the head. It's crazy. Why am I doing this? What am I doing to myself? Let me tell you what happened. I think it was on Instagram, because I don't think I'm on their email list, but Mode Knits Yarn, they are in St. Paul, Minnesota, and they had posted, I believe it was on Instagram, that they posted, oh my gosh, I love this color. They posted that they were selling off the last of the inventory they had in this base. So if you are watching this now, it would not surprise me if they are completely out of this base, but you might want to check them out, see if there's still any left, because I love the feel of this. So let me put my glasses on, because I know it was more than just 2 different fibers that were in this. This is their ModeSock Plus base, and it is 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon. It's 113 gram skein, and there's 430 yards. So it is a fingering weight. But when I saw that this had bamboo in it, I was like, oh, that seems like a good summer knit. So I went through, here's what I went to Ravelry. That is, you know, when I'm trying to decide what I want to make, that's where I go. It's the easiest thing to me, and I know that people have a lot of problems with Ravelry, but until we have something better, that's the most convenient thing to use. So I looked at what I had marked as things that I wanted to knit that were summer tops, because they had 3 skeins of this left. So I was like, this is the one. This is calling my name. This is my color. I love turquoise. Now, I will say, it's showing up very turquoise on screen, and it showed up very turquoise in the picture on their website. But to me, when I look at this in person, it looks more like sky blue. Like if I look out at the sky right now, it is a beautiful day out there, and this is similar in color. Anyhow, I found one of the patterns that I had marked as something that I wanted to make was Lionshead Tea. And that is a pattern by, I wrote it in my notes, Irmian Designs was the name. It'll be up here. And it's also linked below. So I gauge swatched. Now, this is one where I love a good texture. I am so loving this. I assume that it's called Lionshead because like this shape right here kind of looks like a lion's head. I don't know if that's a common knitting texture or what the reason is for that, but whatever. I am so excited to get this started, but all kinds of hesitations because I'm me. I cast it on for my gauge swatch with the needle size that was recommended, which was a 3. And I was knitting along and measuring as I went, and I thought, I'm not gonna get gauge in this. So I want to say I had 24 stitches over 20 or over 4 inches, and you were supposed to get 26. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go down from a size 3 needle to a size 2.5. And so I did that, and I was getting 27 stitches. So I just thought, maybe in blocking, it'll loosen up, everything will work out. So fortunately, I did also gauge swatch the texture part, even though when I was reading the pattern, I didn't notice that it had said, here's how big your pattern repeat should be, your texture pattern. I didn't notice that in the gauge swatch section, just kind of overlooked it. But I'm glad I did that. I did it in the size 2.5 needle. If I had not done that, I would have probably gone with the size 2.5 needle. But I am so far off in my gauge on this chart that there's no way I can do that in that needle size and get a size that I'm expecting. So I'm kind of back to the drawing board. I think I'm going to do another gauge swatch in a size 3 needle. I'm a 1/2 inch off on what the repeat is supposed to be 3 inches. I'm at like 2.5 inches. And this thing, I'm sure I will have a picture up here that you can see. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see the pattern, the texture on it. I'm not sure how well you can see the texture in this, but it is all over that texture. That texture goes all the way across. So if I'm off on that gauge, then the number of inches is going to be nowhere near. So it's going to take a little more thinking, a little more doing. Always an issue for me. Does everybody else experience the same thing? Like, I just want things to be simple. I just want them to be straightforward. But I mean, I went the next needle size down and I'm still not getting gauge. It's so frustrating. I just want to knit this. Another thing too about the pattern is I didn't realize, and this is probably entirely my fault because I skim. I don't read, I skim. And so I didn't realize that this was a sideways knit tee. So there's that too. And now that I think about it, I should probably measure this way because that's the direction. Because going back, I found that I was getting row gauge, not stitch gauge, in the size 2.5 needle. I did not measure it the other way do I have a ruler here? Do I have, one moment, please. Okay, I had to go downstairs to measure this. Anyhow, so the other way, again, same problem. It is not big enough. With giving the best benefit of the doubt, I am at like 2 3/4 of an inch as opposed to 3 inches for this chart repeat. So I'm gonna need to try again with a size 3 needle and see what I come up with. That to me is going to be the determining factor in what I do with this. I do think I like the fabric in stockinette that I'm getting with the 2.5 needle. I feel like the size 3 needle is a little looser than I would like, but then again, it is a summer knit, and so I kind of feel like I might like it better in the finished garment because of the potential drape with the bigger needle. It's so hard to say. I mean, I think my lack of experience in this area is kind of where it's more difficult for me to make these decisions. Plus, when I get to the point of indecision, I kind of just give up. That's just my personal nature. I just go, forget it. I'll do something else. And I think that's why I have so many whips and so few finished items, is because I get to that indecision point and I'm like, all right, well, maybe next year. Maybe next season. And that's why I know my Nomad tee was put off for as long as it was. And I actually took that out of the craft room recently and brought it downstairs so it would be, you know, more at the top of my mind where I can think about it and just allow it to sink in that maybe I could finish this summer. We'll see. So that's Lionshead tee. I do think I'm going to cast this on, hopefully before the next episode, which, by the way, friends, I don't think I've even said, this is my first day of summer. Yippee! I am on summer break, but I will be working for summer school this year, which is something I have never done before. I wanted to work summer school this year because there's a student that I wanted to work with, and we'll see if I do it again, but it is my intention to record weekly again and upload every week. And as part of that summer intention, I am going to be posting more frequently on Instagram. I have not been posting on Instagram. I rarely do that. I would say recently I've probably posted more episodes on YouTube than I have posted just regular posts on Instagram, which for anybody who wants to do anything online, that's probably the opposite of how it should be. So whatever, I'm diving in head first. I'm gonna be posting more frequently on Instagram. I'm gonna be uploading weekly on YouTube, and even if I don't have a lot to say, I will come on, I will say whatever I have to say and be done. Last year, I think I tried to throw in a lot of, you know, what else can I talk about, because I really haven't done as much as I would want to do to post an episode. And so I did stuff like Christmas in July, which really kind of wasn't me. And I tried to make myself into something that I'm not. And that's not what I want this to be. I want to be me. I want to knit what I'm knitting. And if it takes me a long time to knit things, so be it. That's who I am. I think what I have noticed is that I spend a lot of time looking at my phone at things I want to knit when I call it my knitting time. So I don't get as much done because I'm so busy looking at my phone. And when I watch YouTube podcasts from other people, I'm looking at what they're making and going, oh, I want to make that too. So I'm busy on my phone and not as busy knitting. So that's a note to self. Gotta fix that. Next whip. Wow, that was a little soapbox deal in the middle of my whips. And I just threw yarn off. I've got this backpack with strings. This is from last year's meetup. And there was yarn that I will be showing in the New to Me segment that was kind of attached to those strings, apparently. So I am also continuing to work on my Slipdream shawl. And I believe this was a mall fingering from Expression Fiber Arts, and I don't know the colorways, but they will be linked below. And this is the shawl. It is coming along, you guys. It is coming along. So I'm gonna stretch it out as much as I can so you can see the middle of it, because that's where the magic happens on this. Ugh. I am loving this knit. It is the slip stitches to make the texture as well as the color work. They're just so fun. I will say though, I'm at a part here that kind of feels a bit like a slog, just because it's all one color and you've got to do so many repeats of the same slip stitch section. So I think I'm 2 repeats short of finishing this big purple section, and then the rest of it I think is going to be less repeats of the same thing. It's just going to be different charts, and you go through them once or twice, maybe 3 times, but just loving how the colors are working together in this. And I mean, this section, this is my favorite section. This is what made me want to buy this pattern, is that section right there, that color work. Love this mosaic detail. My sister-in-law is having a milestone birthday, and her kids organized a birthday party for her, but then they had to cancel it because one of them is moving that day. So no surprise party for her, but I was thinking about finishing this up and giving it to her. And so I was like, oh, I gotta hurry. I got a lot of knitting to do. This is nowhere near finished. And then when they canceled the party, I thought, gives me more time to finish that. Who needs actual dates and deadlines? Not me. So that I do think that I still want to give it to her. So, and hopefully she will show up at the Frivolous and Frugal 3-ply meetup, because she lives pretty much right around the corner from them, from the hotel where it is. So I'm excited about that. Maybe some of you will get to meet her, and maybe I'll gift it to her with all of you there. Who knows? Anyhow, I am now at a place where I'm knitting shawls to learn different techniques, because I feel like shawls are a good way to get a lot of practice at a different technique, and then they're a good thing to give away. That being said, I did talk about on my last episode that I had bought yarn with the intention of making this Budding Brioche Blooms shawl by Jennifer Shiels Toland, and I will be making that. In fact, the reason I'm talking about it is because I started it, and this is as far as I've gotten. I have just started. This purple section on the bottom is a garter section, and then it goes into a 2-color brioche section. So this is me learning brioche and just getting going on it. So hopefully this will get further along as I work on stuff. But it hasn't gotten very far yet. And I will say with this thing, earlier in the episode, I said something about that I tend to skim things. Well, with this one, I'm paying very close attention. One more thing about this Budding Brioche Blooms. These colorways, I have pre-arranged how I'm planning to do this, so it may or may not work out the way I want to, because these are 50-gram skeins. There are 6 of them, and the original pattern was written for, I want to say, like a light fingering or a lace weight, and so I'm winging it like I do with everything. But so I've got these 2 colors to start, and this was a kit, I don't know what to call it, a group of colors that came together from Expression Fiber Arts. So these 2 I'm doing together first, so you can see this nice contrast here. And then I mapped out, just one day I was in the middle of knitting my other shawl, Slipdream, and I decided I need to come up with what I'm doing with this, because I had all of the colors sitting out just staring me in the face, and I thought I'm gonna figure out what my plan of attack is here. So I made this. I don't know if you can see that with the sunlight. It's all in pencil. But basically what I did is I drew out the V shapes that are in this Budding Brioche Blooms pattern. So you can see on this I know you can see, all the different shapes and how there's the different areas of color. And what I did is I mapped out which colors would be where. So I'm hoping this all works out the way I want it to, and that I have enough yarn to do the sections that I want to do. My plan is this last section. Now I'm wondering if I talked about this before, that would be these 2 colors together. and I think that'll be a nice edging to that, to give it some more color. But I've got 3 different purples, and they'll be used at different places throughout. And I have my roadmap right here, and I think what I need to do is make a copy of this so that I can put it into my pattern and have it in the same project bag with it, because that's on the back of my instructions for the Slipdream shawl. Although I have finished that part of the Slipdream shawl, but the other thing that I did is that's sort of a key to my colors for Slipdream, is it's got like what I chose as color 1, color 2, and color 3, and I sometimes need to refer to that. So I think I need to make a copy of this. Those are all of my whips right now. I have one new to me yarn, and this one actually, I didn't buy this. Last night I went to Knit Group, and there was someone who brought in 2 bins full of yarn, and she said, take whatever you want. And I was like, okay, twist my arm. So I picked this up. Now I will say there was another of these size skeins. These are, it says, I want to say 2 ounces. I might need my glasses again. But it was a similar size yarn skein that they were like a gold color and a mossy green. And I was like, ooh, I kind of love those, but I have nothing that I want to make with those right now. So that may be revisited in the future. But this, I actually, before I started recording today, I looked up this yarn dyer because I thought I want to be able to tell you something about the person. The name on the label is Gypsy Girl Creations, and I believe that they changed the name of it because when I did a Google search for them, it came up something else. It's going to be on the screen right here. Stone Barn Fibers, I think. So I meant to have that all written down and be a prepared person, but that's not my life. So still in business, apparently. They are in Rockford, Illinois. But the colorway of this, it says Transitions Mardi Gras. So I am assuming that this starts at maybe like the yellow, and then, ooh, there's a hair, sorry. And then maybe transitions into the greens and then into the purple. Or obviously it could be the other way around. But I am thinking that with these, they would make a good pair of socks. The only hesitation I have with that is this is 100% superwash merino wool. And I know people say you can make socks out of 100% wool without the nylon. So I'm just gonna, they may become socks, they may not, but you know how I love purple and green. Okay, onto the comments. I have multiple people who commented on my energy, enthusiasm, and inspiration, and thank you for saying that. I do know that sometimes I am enthusiastic beyond reason. And I hope you find my attitude infectious and get inspired about your own knitting. So comments came from Mary Jane, Stephanie, and Doris about enthusiasm, etc. I also had multiple comments on the last episode about my choices for colors in my Fosette. Those came from Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits, who said the colors look like a flower garden in spring. And I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I could see that. Wendy had also commented on the colors, and she said, if we were closer, I'd happily become a knitting pal of yours. I've had a bit of cast-on-itis. I want to knit everything. Same girl. Yes, I would totally love to knit with all of you. Kendra also commented on my colors. She said, all of your whips are lovely and so colorful. Thank you, Kendra. And Colleen had a lot to say. Selfish knitter. She talked about the Fosette colors and that she liked them. Thank you. And then she also had some good YouTube advice. Okay, let me see if I can find this. She said, did you know that you can create multiple playlists on YouTube? I made one specifically for knitting podcasts, and I saved new episodes to that list as they pop up. So that's what I started doing. I have a playlist for knitting episodes as well as like other categories that I'm interested in. And generally speaking, I gravitate toward the knitting, and there are so many shows that I want to watch that I end up not watching all of the other categories because I am knitting obsessed. But the other thing that Colleen talked about was my, with the watermelon socks and all. Okay. I hope you have watermelon red shorts to wear with the Sea Haven and socks. Oh my gosh. I said I would be a sight to see in that watermelon getup. Not gonna happen. Thanks for the suggestion though. Then she went on to say, did you know that you can create multiple playlists on YouTube? I made one specifically for knitting podcasts, and I save the new episodes to that list as they pop up. So she goes on to say, then I can go into my library on the TV and play them through. That's what I do. When I'm done watching, I go back to the list on my phone or iPad to add comments, then remove them from the playlist. It is extra steps, certainly, but it helps me better keep track of my favorite people. I think this is helping the algorithm too. She says, this episode was the first recommendation when I logged in today. So it helps her own algorithm. So the algorithm that is telling her what to watch is showing her the ones that she wants to see more, I would hope. So I still think, like, when I log in, I have done this playlist thing. I have not been commenting as much as I would like to, because that does require that extra step of going back to your phone and going through and making the comments, which I should be doing. As a YouTube creator, I should know that this will help me in the algorithms to be seen more. And so that's something that I want to try to be better at. So with that being said, I do think I must be finished, because I've gone through most of the comments from last week, and I want to thank everyone again for all the time that you spend with me on YouTube, Instagram, and real life in person. And I do hope to meet each and every last one of you so that I can thank you in person. So with that in mind, I'm signing off. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and create your own playlists. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye.